Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amizan bin Abduhai. I'm from class RSR 241CA. And for this the video is I want to share my final year's project is the code SRW655. And my title research is assessing the important factor of sport facility and management toward USM Pulau Pinang student. So my supervisor is Muhammad Khairul Anwar bin Muhammad Yusuf. So for the first slide is the introduction for my sport facility. So sport facility is important for the athlete, student, or any people play the sport. For the my project, I have to aim to the student USM Pulau Pinang. So sport facility is the management is important part of user, player and sport growth. Access to high quality sport and recreational facility can help business meet current demands while also planning for future expansion. So for the management is the ability of clear signal and well posted regulation along with the process of helpful and friendly staff. So management is how to manage the sport facility, how to a good manage for the sport facility for the future, for the certification of consumer. And then service quality is a concept that was previously investigated. So service quality is have three dimension. Is first is tangible, responsiveness, and tangible, and empathy, which I use for my research. And for the dimension for the service quality is have the 7 reliability, responsiveness, tangible, empathy, and assurance, and then is that's all. So for the problem, the statement, there are several considerations on facility in that USM Pulau Pinang must investigate in order to advance toward being in a campus. The sport facility are employed as marketing tactic to keep the university competitive and encourage future students and to enroll. So for a third, it all description is critical to have a university recreation fitness center to promote healthy life on campus. It also to help with stress relief after a full day of classes. And for limit sport facility are important because of the numerous benefits they may provide, not just to students but also to the university as well. So for the third Jerusalem 2016 is sport facility have become key factor for students when deciding which university to attend. A great sport facility with high quality maintenance will influence their selection. For the limitation is a poor maintenance, low quality sport equipment, limited sport equipment and court for various sport in the sports center, limited a larger number of users at the time. I just a few the problem and complaint receiver. And then for the research objectives, what I make my the research is to determine the quality of sport facility and management, tangible responsiveness and empathy, available at USM Pulau Pinang as perceived by student. And the research objectives 2 is to determine the factor of certification toward the sport facility available at USM Pulau Pinang as perceived by student. And for the and 3 is research objective 3 is the assess the difference on the quality of sport facility and management, which mean intangible responsiveness and empathy, available at USM Pulau Pinang student perceived by student in terms of the gender. So look the research question is what are the factor tangible quality sport facility and management available USM at the USM Pulau Pinang as perceived by student? What the factor of responsiveness? What are factor empathy? And what research question 4 is what are factor certification toward sports facility available? And research question 5 is are there any difference on the tangible or responsiveness or empathy of sport facility quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pulau Pinang student in terms of the gender. So for the research hypothesis is actually the alternative hypothesis is there are different of tangible responsiveness and empathy quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pulau Pinang student Pulau Pinang as perceived by student in term of the gender. So for the null hypothesis HO is there are no different on the tangible responsiveness and empathy of quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pulau Pinang and perceived by student in terms of the gender. So for the significance of the studies of the research is the benefit that can be gained by certain community from this research, and they for the purpose of this research is to determine the quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pulau Pinang perceived by student. So for the industry organization, educational is USM Pulau Pinang student. And then is conceptual framework. So for the first is USM student Pulau Pinang I make the gender groups, and then to the service quality have the 3 dimension. What I have to make my research is the tangible responsiveness and empathy, and the last is the student certification for student certification. And then look for the assessing the important factor of sport facility and management toward USM Pulau Pinang student. So for the methodology in my research is research design is the questionnaire survey via Google Form, and quantitative research, and for the sampling is USM Pulau Pinang student, which mean is 110 student, my respondent. So for my sample size from the Krenji Morgan, and Morgan is 110 only my respondent at the USM Pulau Pinang. For the inclusion in my research is the gender, male and female, all diploma and degree USM Pulau Pinang student, and then student that use the sport facility. And for the inclusion of the all master and PhD student in USM Pulau Pinang student and then the staff USM Pulau Pinang. So for the next is the research instrument. So for the item in this questionnaire are divided the three sections. Is the section A and section B, and then the section C. Section A is a demographic or demographic characteristic or personal, and section B is have a 30 questionnaire, have conclude which mean is the tangible, have five question, responsiveness have 3, empathy have 5 question, and adapted from circular model by Parasuraman 1988 and certification by Hussein 2019, and section C is the student certification. And then is the section is the questionnaire, my questionnaire in my research. Section A is personal data or demographic characteristic and have a 5 component. Is the 1 gender, 2 age, 3 is the educational level, and 4 the current semester, and the 5 the school is called is faculty at the USM school, which means is the faculty. So for the section B is the service quality. What I should to my research is the have the 3 dimension from the service quality is, which mean is the tangible, responsiveness, and the empathy. So for the tangible have the 5 the items, and responsiveness have the 3, and then for the empathy is have the 5 item. So for the section C, which mean is the student certification. Student certification have a 12 item for the student certification from the my research. So for the procedure is the permission to first conduct the study would be formally applied to the timbal attached periods and Pulau Pinang, and then second is the link to access the Google form is the questionnaire I send by friend and by faculty who provide respondent via WhatsApp. So respondent would take their time to complete the questionnaire, and the data would collect once the respondent completed the answers. And then respondent would not be required to the name the questionnaire for confidentially purpose. Respondent would take 10 minutes to complete the answering questionnaire. Respondent would be given weeks to submit the questionnaire. My questionnaire, the questionnaire I took 5 weeks around to complete the answering from all respondents. So for the statistical analysis is the version my research I used the SPSS version 26 for the statistic, and then for the descriptive statistic for which mean research objective 1 and research objective 2, and for the independent test is the research objective 3, and the reliability analysis is the for the pilots the study. So next, for the data analysis and a result, or the finding. First is the demographic characteristic or personal data. And then for the chapter, this chapter is the related to the my title research is the assessing the important factor of sport facility and management toward US employment student. So for the this application program would explain to the detail of the collect data. So for the table 4.1 is demographic profile of respondent by gender group is which means the male and the female, and have my respondent, all my respondent is 110. So male for the frequency 55, and female if 55 is the balance, and for the percent is 100. And then for the table 4.2 is demographic profile of the respondent by age group, and the highest age in my research is 21 until 23 years old. For the frequency is the 18, and the percent is 70%. Then for cumulative percent is 89. So have the highest from the age group. And the table 4.3 is the demographic profile of respondent by educational level, which is the highest is the degree, have a frequency have 106 respondent. Okay, and then for the table 4.4 is the demographic profile of respondent by current semester. So for the highest current semester, which is the semester 2, for the frequency have the 45 frequency. And for the last table is 4.5, demographic of respondent by school or faculty, and the very highest in the school or faculty at the USM Filipino student is the School of Biological Science. For the frequency is have 21 frequency. So for the table 4.6 is which the statistic of factor of tangible quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pimpinan student. So the very highest mean from the tangible quality factor tangible quality is many respondent choose the question the facility in USM have to up to date equipment. So up to date equipment, up to date equipment this year is all equipment, and future years have to maintain and have to buy good buy a new equipment. For the example, gym equipment have to up to date upgrade, and for use for easy use for the consumer or student at the USM Pilipinas. And for the table 4.7 is the factor of responsiveness, quality of sport facility, and the management. available at USM Pulau Pinang student. So the factor is the very highest is which is you can do the staff in the facility. USM are always willing to help you, and then the second highest is the staff in facility. USM give you your promote the service, and the last the highest is staff in the facility. USM are never too busy to respond to your request. So for the first question is the mean is 4.15, and second is the mean is 4.11, and the last is the 4.05. Next is table 4.8 is the statistic of factor of empathy, quality of sport facility and management available USM Pulau Pinang as perceived by student. So for the question, very highest question for the empathy quality is the, you can see is the means 4.50 is the employers of the facility. USM understand your specific needs, and then the second highest is the 4.30 means the facility USM have your best interest at her, and the last highest is the mean if 4.03 is the facility USM routine hours of convention for my schedule. So for the table 4.9 is the statistic of the factor of certification towards sport facility and the management available at USM student, Pulau Pinang student. So you can see the very highest from 12 the question, and very highest mean is 4.28, which is the I am certified with the program that contribute to psychological wellness, and 2 is I am certified the joining the sport facility in USM help promote by social status as I meet new people. So it's the very highest in the student certification. Student may choose the this question. So for the table 4.10 is the independent sample test for different on the tangible quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pulau Pinang as student by student by in the term of the gender. So you can look is the tangible for the highest, the significant highest is the there are the hypothesis there are no different on the tangible quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pulau Pinang as perceived by student in term of the gender, and the score for both the gender is significant to type is the 0.290. So p value is more p value have this is a more 0.05. So for the overall for the item tangible of quality, it conclude female more understand about the service quality of management, and the hypothesis was the rejected. So what you can see from the table 4.11 is the independent sympathy test, different of the responsiveness quality of sport facility management. And what you can see is the hypothesis 2 is there are different on the responsiveness quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pulau Pinang, especially by student in terms of the gender. So according to the result independent, there are significant difference on the responsiveness. Okay, so for the score is less than 0.05 is 0.035. So overall for the item responsiveness quality, it be concluded that female more understand about service quality. So male is not understand. Based on the result, there was the different responsiveness level. So the hypothesis was accepted. So for the table 4.12 is the independent sympathy test for the different on the empathy quality of sport facility and the management. So for the table, you can see the item empathy, the highest mean which is the female, the mean is the highest 4.21. So for the significant hypothesis 3 is there are different on the empathy quality of sport facility. So in this study, according result of independent test, there are significant difference on the empathy quality of sport facility and the management available USM Pulau Pinang perceived by student in terms of the gender. So for the significant to type is the 0.008. So based on the result, there was different on the empathy. So the famous student is very many choose the empathy because for the emotional to use the sport facility at USM. So for the discussion, recommendation and conclusion, for this chapter is to summarize assessing the important factor of sport facility and the management toward USM Pulau Pinang student, that the finding, conclusion, research implication and future study recommendation were summarized and finished in this chapter. So this chapter is related to the service quality and then student certification. So as you can see is the quality of sport facility and the management, which is tangible quality first available at USM Pulau Pinang as persist by student. So result finding after analyzing all the quality of sport facility and management, which is tangible quality available USM Pulau Pinang as a persist student. The result exposes that the highest score for tangible quality question is the facility in USM have to up-to-date equipment. So from the means get the 4.34. So from the actor, the Chamal and Nasir 2002, a significant aspect for band is tangibleness. Customer, for example, make a conclusion about the service quality based on the tangible of the band, the building, the physical layout, so that surround the service environment, because that can have a significant impact and customer emotional responsiveness. So the latest equipment have So for the tangible quality, you have now the latest equipment, sport facility have a very good impact on the student at USM Pulau Pinang, because it can certify user when new equipment is constantly update to up to date. The new equipment or have to make maintenance. So the student or user, USM Pulau Pinang can use this sport facility well, because the sport equipment is always up to date and have to make education, many education every time, every year, have to for the consumer to use the sport facility at USM. So next is the quality of sport facility management. Is the second is the responsiveness. So the result finding after analyzing, you can see the result expose that the highest score for the responsiveness equality equation is the question staff in the facility USM are always willing to help you. So for the means 4.50. So for the third, Almegir and Shamsuddahar 2003, in order to quickly solve a customer problem, a bank must do responsive, which is difficult in present banking industry. So to complete transaction with the bank employee with making mistake, computation or assurance is also current. So therefore, this analytical studies has shown that the staff at USM Pulau Pinang, you maybe can relate it, maybe. So sport facility are always ready to help student. The various facility available. So the staff have to make the decision to respond if the consumer or student have the request for the maybe for the maintenance sport facility, and staff have to follow and customer needs. So and then this because student really like the help that is available at the sport facility and excellent way of the management at the USM. And then for the third is the empathy, the quality of sport facility and the management. You can see that about the empathy quality. So based on the result finding after analyzing, the result exposed that the score for empathy quality. So is the what the question is, the employees of the facility USM understand your specific needed. So is Ming get is the 4.50. So and it all 2011 demonstrate empathy in their research of private sector bank, provide individual attention and easy operation time, give personal attention and understand the specific need of customer. Okay, referring to the study conducted by sport facility worker USM, they understand specific needs of student or user using available sport facility. So therefore, in the understanding is a feeling of user in the convenience of sport is also very important for the comfort of each user. And for the factor of certification tour of the sport facility available at USM Pulau Pinang as perceived by student. So based on the finding show that the factor certification tour of sport facility available. So the result show the highest means for the question is a IM certificate with the program that contribute to physiology winners, and then same the result with the question have the two same mean is the IM certificate that joined the sport facility in USM help promote my social status as I meet new people is mean is the 4.28 and 4.28, and then by the plans to 2005 service quality and student happiness according is previous demonstrate a substantial association between these two variables. So the finding definitely show that the student certification is influenced by the quality of sport facility, and based on the analysis of the research conduct, students are very satisfied with the program that can contribute as physiological well-being in the use of the available sport facility. So students are also certified participating in the sport facility at USM Pulau Pinang because they can help promote social status such as being able to get now many other users in the sport facility. And for the difference on the quality of sport facility and management, for the tangible quality, so there are no significant difference on tangible quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pulau Pinang perceived by student in terms of the gender, so which is p-value more than 0.05 for component tangible quality. So the state of physical surrounding look to be another proof of the service provided care and attention to detail from the actor Fitzsimmons and Fitzsimmons 2001. So this result show that the female just the tangible quality better than male. So female have maybe have understood about the tangible quality in the sport facility available. So as a result, this finding USM Pulau Pinang state of physical surrounding is very good to consumer sport facility and give a good feedback for the management. So female now more about tool and process provide the sport facility available at USM. And second difference on the quality about the responsiveness. So there are significant difference on the responsiveness quality of sport facility and management available at USM Pulau Pinang as perceived by student in terms of the gender for the component responsiveness quality. So furthermore, includes now the customer demand and expectation, making operation simple, giving staff member personalized attention, paying attention to the issue and ensuring the safety of the customer in all interaction. So p-value less than 0.05, and they show that female better understand the responsive in the sport facility, which is many female is better. Many female choose the responsiveness maybe understood about the component responsiveness, and can provide good service to user with respect, can also certify female user the available sport facility. So the responsive is very important, because what happened to do at the sport facility. The staff have to guide the student or consumer in the sport facility. And then the last is the different on the quality of the sport facility and management about the empathy quality. So there are significant different, because it's the p value is less than 0.05, so significant different. So previous study examine how gender perception of service provider empathy could affect how well they are served and how loyal they are their gyms from the Merendi 2010. So the result that the female very high score for empathy, and that is different, may be more equated in the current social climate, which place value on fitness, slim figure, and looking good the body. So based on the result, female is very empathy, have emotional for sport facility, maybe different perception of any facility. So so for the limitation, is the can be time management, maybe busy with the job, family obligation, daily activity, and delay answer the question, disagree the inclusion criterion, and so on. So for the recommendation is the future research can compare different type of additional factor or demand, and the result of can be distributed to university employers. And second, the future research can make larger sample size. Future research also can cover non-student of university for sport facility. For the conclusion, the study findings suggested that the provider should focus on the way to maintain to enhance the quality of service that the provider student. So second, this study is made with high hopes the USM Pulau Pinang can have more facility and organized management process in handling certification of students that choose sport facility as their main daily routine. So for the overall study, I am satisfied with my research. I have determined about the service quality of sport facility and management, and the student certification of USM Pulau Pinang in my research. Thus, I'll also achieve all my research objectives. So thank you.